गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। यो नित्यम् अच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोः भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण द्वैतवासना प्रमुच्यते बोधात्मकाय नमस्तस्मै भगवते श्रीरमणमहर्षे। हृदाकाशे सदा भान्तं शान्तम् आनन्दरूपिणं ज्ञानभानुम् अहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं श्रीसत्यसायिनं मन्त्रयामिनं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं हृदयस्तीति सदा भाति प्रियं निखिलनिगमार्थसारं यस्य सुरमुनिजनवन्द्यपदाब्जद्वन्द्वं भक्तचित्ताभिरामं यत्तप्रसरति परिमलप्रेमप्रवाहं तमेव मम सर्वं विहरति प्रशान्तिनिलये साक्षात् ब्रह्मतत्त्वम्। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेषु अभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोत्तरपरमो निर्मत्सराणां सदां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तुशिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परेरीश्वर सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते यत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुगमकातमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुर्मुहुः रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकमध्यात्मदीपमतितितीर्षतां तमोन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। कस्मै येन विभासितोऽयमतुलो ज्ञानप्रदीपपुरा तद्रूपेण च नारदाय मुनये कृष्णाय तद्रूपिणा योगीन्द्राय तदात्मनाथ भगवद्राताय कारुण्यतः तत्शुद्धं विमलं विशोकम् अमृतं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनः तं नमामि हरिं परम्। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय श्रीगोविन्दाय नमो नमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय श्रीगोविन्दाय नमो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। सत्यव्रतं सत्यपरं त्रिसत्यं सत्यस्य योनिं निहितं च सत्ये सत्यस्य सत्यं ऋतसत्यनेत्रं सत्यात्मकं त्वां शरणं प्रपन्नाः। वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलोदरोष्ठात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। ध्यानाभ्यासवशीकृतेन मनसा तन्निर्गुणं निष्क्रियं ज्योति किञ्चन योगिनो यदि परं पश्यन्तु पश्यन्तु ते अस्माकन्तु तदेव लोचरतम चमत्कार भूयाच्चिरं काळिन्दी पुलिनोदरे किमपि यन् नीलं अहो धावति। वन्दे वृन्दावनचरं वल्लवी जनवल्लभं जयन्ती सम्भवं धाम वै जयन्ती विभूषणम्। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं दशमस्य विशुद्ध्यर्थे नवानामिह लक्षणम्। In Bhagavatam says the purpose of the 9 is for the 10th. Ten characteristics are listed out for Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the final one being mukti. And the 9 previous ones are for the sake of the 10th, which is liberation. But at the same time, we have seen 9 skandhas so far and we have arrived at the 10th skandha. And it is for the sake of purifying ourselves to be able to listen, experience the 10th skandha that we have heard 9 so far. Why, Abdena? This is Dashama Skandham takes about 25% of the entire Bhagavatam. One skandha takes about 25% of the entire Bhagavatam. It is purely Krishna Katha. Only Krishna story. All the other avatars were condensed in the previous bits, but Krishna Avataram alone is taking this much time. And now, one Parikshit was in love with Krishna. It was for Krishna's sake that he was living his life. Adanala, he wants to hear about Krishna as much as possible before life is to depart for him. Up until this avataram, we have seen many avatars so far. Matsya avataratala Bhagavan becomes the guru of the king, Satyavrata, imparts to him Brahmatattvam, guides the ship across the waters of the primal or final dissolution. And the recipient really is only Satyavrata, the one king. Kurmavataratala Bhagavan becomes the tortoise to uphold Mandara Parvatam, while the Devas are churning the ocean for Amritam. They are the beneficiaries there. Varahavatartala Bhagavan kills Hiranyaksha and restores the earth so that Swayambhuva Manu and his wife Shatarupa can have a place to live in. Nrisimhavataratala Bhagavan comes for the sake of Prahalada. Vamanavataratala Bhagavan comes only for the sake of Mahabali Chakravarti. Parashuramavataratala Bhagavan is interested only in killing 21 generations of Kshatriyas. Ramavataratala, from Sri Ramavataram, the numbers increase. In Ramavataratala, we find the people of Ayodhya, Guha, Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrughna, Sita, Hanuman, Shabari, the rishis, the numbers are increasing. But even when the numbers are increasing there, we find Hanuman, what kind of parakramam Hanuman has, we can impossible for us to compare ourselves with Hanuman. Hanuman Bhakti, Hanuman Shakti is also there alongside Hanuman's Bhakti. Upon the human mind will tend to think, if I also have that much Shakti, maybe I will also have that much Bhakti. Shabari, Rama himself was only bearing a mute witness to her attaining moksha. She has already accomplished everything. Rishis allamum, who can compare with the Rishis? Bharata, Rama's own brother, we can, in Ramavataram, we find exemplary devotees, but none of them are somebody that we can relate to. We can always find excuses for our lack of bhakti. Anna, Bhagavan came, Krishna Avataratala, what did Bhagavan do? Right at the very outset, beginning of his avataram itself, he spent time with unlettered, uncultured, uneducated cowherds and cowherdesses. Bhagavan began his wonderful prema leela with the Gopalas and the Gopis and the Gopikas of Vrindavana. What did Bhagavan make clear? I'm accessible, very, very accessible. Anybody can approach me. Bhagavan made it very clear. You don't have to have birth of a certain pedigree. You don't have to have knowledge to a certain degree. You don't have to have skills of a certain caliber. You don't have to have tapasya. You don't have to have dana, dharma. Prema is enough. Bhagavan wanted to show this truth. Adanala from Krishna Avataram dan, the prema tattva becomes really widely accepted, available to everybody. Advarikum prema tattva me apdi maranjirku. Prema is there. Prema, without prema, Bhagavan himself is not there. And the prema seems to be very hidden. Tapas seems to be more outward, evident. Yajnas and yagas seem to be more evident. Idvaraikum kathikalellaam paathom. Prithu Chakravarti nu orutan, he does so many yajnas and propitiates Bhagavan. Kartama Prajapati does tapasya and propitiates Bhagavan. Appadinallam we are seeing. Ana inga Krishnavadarathaladhan we find anybody and everybody can have access to him with just pure prema. Onnum vanda. Adu enna mari prema enna? Priya prema enna. Premake edavadhu pannalana onnum pannala. They lived their lives for Krishna. Krishna enchanted them, came into their hearts, enchanted them, stole their hearts away. After that, they lived their lives for Krishna. That is all they did. They didn't do anything extra or special. They did not change their life or lifestyle. They continued to live the same lifestyle. The Gopikas of Vrindavanam, after Krishna comes into their lives, don't suddenly start meditating. No? Nobody is sitting and doing dhyanam. They are still milking the cows, they are still churning the butter, they are still going to the river to fetch water. Their life prior to Krishna and after Krishna, the activities in their lives did not change. They didn't all suddenly become very spiritual and start to do so-called spiritual things. I will do japa, I will do dhyana. What were they doing? Whatever it is that they were doing was all Krishna-mayam. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Bhagavan makes it very, very clear, abundantly clear in Krishnavataram, because also it is a preparation for us. Krishnavataram was a preparation for all of us. Us abdina, we are coming in Kali Yuga. Krishnavataram is happening at the end of Dwapara Yuga, transcending, it is transitioning into Kali Yuga. At the time Krishnavataram is happening. Whatever Bhagavan did in Krishnavataram is to pave the way for all of us who come in Kali Yuga, because for us, the methods of Treta Yuga, methods of Krita Yuga, methods of Dwapara Yuga also are not applicable, not easy for us to do. But Bhagavan wanted something for all of us. Enna Bhagavan said, love me enough. Just love me, it is enough. Love me, it is enough. Now, how to love you? He said, don't worry, I will show you how to love me. I will live with the Gopikas only for one purpose, to show you how to love me. Adukku in the Leelagalella. Krishna Katha is more of value than the nectar that was churned by the Devas from the ocean. Devas went and churned the ocean and got Amritam. Poison came, other things came. Now Krishna Katha abdi illa, when Shuka is going to be churned, only Amritam is going to come out. Parikshit is going to churn Shuka. How is he churning Shuka? Shukar Guru liya. How are you going to churn the Guru? Asking questions. Pariprashnena, Bhagavan in the Gita says, if you want to get that nectar of jnana from the Guru, then what should you do? Pranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya. You go and fall at his feet, humble yourself in front of him, be nothing in front of him. Then ask questions with that desire to, with that hunger to know, not with mere curiosity, not to tickle your intellectual fancies, but with a deep-seated hunger to know, ask questions. Adam pariprashnam. And then, sevaya. Don't expect the answer to come as soon as you've asked the question. Keep serving him. When the time is appropriate, suddenly the answer will come. The question may have been asked one day, the answer may come 4 or 5 days later. இப்பெல்லாம் நமக்கு எப்படி ஆயிடுதுன்னா Q and A. Q is immediately followed by A. We immediately want the answer. Bhagavan allam kattukonum Bhagavan kitta irundhu. We got to learn from Ramana Bhagavan. They will ask a question, Bhagavan will simply look and walk. 2 days later, answer will come. Suddenly Bhagavan will answer that question. It is not that Bhagavan is going and referring to books to answer that question. I don't know now, you wait, I will read and come. Bhagavan was out in the open, he never had any time to go and do anything. He didn't Google for the answers and then come and give it. Yenna, just because you ask the question doesn't mean you're ready to receive the answer. Receptivity, even if the answer is given, will you understand it? Kepa ellarum, they will ask the question. But even if the answer is given, they will not be able to understand it. What is the point? Just because they have asked the question, do they deserve an answer or not? No, not at all. But when the question comes from In the pariprashnena, pranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya combination, when the question comes, then the answer also immediately jumps forth. And the Madhurya inge, Parikshit asks Sri Shuka, Pitamaha me samare amaranjai devavratadi atiratai duratyayam kaurava sainya sagaram krutva taran vatsapadam smayat plavaha draumyastra viplushtam idam madangam santana bijam kuru pandavanam jugopakukshim gata atta chakro matuschameyah sharanam gatayaha Viryani tasya kila deha bhajam antarbahih purusha kalarupaihi prayachato mrityumutam mritancha maya manushyasya vadasva vidvan. அப்படின்னு Parikshit is asking, Sri Shuka, please tell me the stories of Krishna. But how does he ask? My grandfathers entered into an ocean called the Kaurava army. The army was infested with whales and sharks like Bhishma and Drona and so on. Adila, it was a difficult to cross, difficult to ford ocean. If they were able to happily, easily cross it as though it were merely the small depression caused by the hoof print of a calf walking on wet ground, Yarnala, whose grace was it that they were able to achieve success? And when Ashwatthama sent a astra in order to completely destroy the entire Pandava clan, even the last seed that was left was to be burnt by him. Apo, my mother surrendered to him, and by surrendering to him ended up saving my life. And the Bhagavan, that Krishna's story, who is this Krishna? Abdinna Tasya kila deha bhajam. Are Krishna? Who is Krishna? Edo Nilamega Shamanana Pitambara Dhariya Venu Vilolana. Bhagavan is Krishna, the one who wears yellow silks, dark in complexion, having the flute in his hand, the peacock feather on his hair. Even then, Krishna is this Krishna. Tasya kila dekha bhajam. He is the indweller of every heart. Present inside and outside, antavbahihi. Inside and outside he is omnipresent. As what? Purusha kalarupaihi. Inside is present as the Atma, outside is present as time, as Kala. Inside, Bhagavan is present as the unchanging self, outside is present as the eternally changing time. Prayachato mrityumutamritamcha. And in the form of time he is bringing death, in the form of the Atma he is bringing amritam, immortality. Atma, in the form of Atma, Bhagavan is immortality. In the form of Kala, time, Bhagavan is death. And the Krishnanudiya Maya Manushyasya, that Maya Manusha. He took a human form, but really that human form itself was only an illusion. He was eternally divine, purely divine, totally divine. And the divine one in the human form, tell me his stories. Vadasva vidvan. Tell me those stories. It is these stories that are sustaining me. For 7 days, this Parikshit is sitting there and listening. Bhagavatam says, for the 7 days, neither he touched water or food, nor did Shuka touch water or food. They were listening like that. Nammada mari kekala. Not like us, eating 4 meals a day. Even normally we will only eat 3 meals a day. Since we have come to Saptaham, we are eating 4 meals a day. The story was enough to fill them. They are listening. Tell me Krishna Katha. Shuka said, of course, I have come here to tell Krishna Katha only. What else do you think I have come here, and what else are you waiting for? What else is required for us to do but listen to Krishna Katha? Because Parikshit has got 7 days to live. In these 7 days, he wants to attain moksha. We have to consider this very clearly and carefully. He has got 7 days to live. In 7 days, he wants to attain moksha. Shuka does not teach him meditation. Go and meditate. 7 days, you have to meditate for 7 days. Shuka doesn't teach him any yoga. Shuka doesn't teach him any pranayama. Shuka doesn't teach him any japa. What does Shuka say? You listen to Krishna Katha. Listen to Krishna Katha enough. Listen to the stories of this child stealing butter. It is enough for you to get moksha. And nothing else. He does not give anything else. See, there is only 7 days. 7 days. We are doing this Saptaham. We are missing so many bits and we are doing it already. We don't have 7 days. May not be enough for us to do. So it's not that Shuka finished everything in day 1 and then gave 6 days of tapasya for him. Only story, tattvam da, pravachananda. Parikshit is listening. Shuka is saying, Parikshit is listening. In this, Parikshit attains moksha. How? எப்படி அடைஞ்சதுன்னா ஜபம் பண்ண வேண்டாமா, தியானம் பண்ண வேண்டாமா, சாதனை பண்ண வேண்டாமா? Is sadhana not required to attain moksha? Is japa not required, dhyana not required, namasmarana not required to attain moksha? How can moksha be attained just like that? Moksha is the easiest thing to be attained in this world. Liberation, jnanam, these are all the easiest things to attain in this world. To eat a banana also takes effort. You have to peel it and put it into your mouth. Ana mokshathukku vanda, Swami once said, the effort required to pierce a rose petal with a needle, one rose petal, not a whole rose, one rose petal or sharp needle, what the effort that is required to pierce a rose petal with a needle is much more than the effort required to attain moksha. Process this within yourselves. A rose petal or a needle, how much effort does it take to pierce the rose petal? Moksha is easier than that. Yenna? Why? It is already your nature. Swatasiddha vastu. Even for the rose petal is here, needle has to be brought. Full effort. There is a distance. Moksha tukku namakku distance kadayadu. There is no distance between us and jnana. We are that. Even now we are that. There is no effort required for this. What is required? Lose the identity, lose the individuality. Japa, dhyana, all these things are given so that by using that you may lose your individuality. There is nothing magical about japa, there is nothing magical about dhyana, there is nothing magical about atmavichara. All of them have only one purpose. They are all means, methods by which you can lose your identity. Dehanma bhavam aral. Whatever gets rid of it is enough. Nothing is required. In prema they lose themselves. In fact, easiest to lose it in prema. I do not know how to. All I know and all I can do is imitate what Swami did, really speaking. What did Swami do? He was there. And that was enough. He was there. His very presence exuded love that we never had felt in our lives before. And that love was enough to go within, reach within, awaken the love that is there within us and go to Him. And in that transaction, eternal flow of love, we could forget ourselves. That is what Krishna Avataram is all about. That is what Swami's Avataram is all about. That is the only thing we can do. The Pravachanam is not what is going to help. Shuka is talking, Parikshit is listening. What is Shuka talking about? And Krishna Prema. Why is Shuka talking about Krishna? Why is Shuka talking about Bhagavan? Not to make Parikshit feel that Prema. For Shuka to feel the Prema. It's a mystery. Shuka is not telling these stories so that Parikshit may feel Prema. Shuka is saying all of this so that he can feel the Prema. When he feels that Prema, he becomes this personification of love. Looking at Shuka, Parikshit will melt. புரியுறதா? See, we take a perfume, we use perfume. What do you use when you want to use a perfume? What do? You take the perfume and you apply it on yourself. And as a result, what happens when you come, others are going to feel the perfume. But others are going to feel the perfume, you're not going to go and apply it on their noses. You will apply it on yourself and they will feel it. The kathaye appadithaan, Bhagavatame appadithaan. Why do you think I am sitting here and telling all these stories, singing so much and all that? Not for your sake. So that I get transported. When I am transported, you are automatically transported. Are you not transported? Isn't it? Avadhaan. That's the secret. That is what Shuka is doing. Shuka is building up the prema within himself so that the prema, when he is in that prema, looking at him, Parikshit melts. If suppose I am singing or I am telling the story and tears come into my eyes, what happens in your eyes? Until that moment, you would not have felt anything. The moment I feel that prema, you feel that prema. Isn't it? You may not get it. So what happens now? I beat myself up, as it were, with prema. Make myself, tenderize myself with and become mellow. When I become mellow, when tears come into my eyes, looking at the tears of prema in my eyes, tears come into your eyes. That is all we can do. Ana idhila enna appadina win situation. When I immerse myself in Bhagavad Prema, do I need to be paid for it? But when I immerse myself in Bhagavad Prema, you also, Anna Swami speaks, there's a big poster outside. It is from Bhagavata Vahini of Swami, in which Swami speaks about Shuka. And Swami says, when Bhagavatam is told and heard by those who have tears in their eyes while narrating it, then the heart of the listener also will be moved, and Swami says. அப்படித்தான் பாகவதம் சொல்லணும். If Bhagavatam is not told like that, what is the use of Bhagavatam? That is how Shuka said the story. Shukare kannala thanniyoda sonnara. Shuka narrated Bhagavatam with tears in his eyes. Kittam bhuta guno harihi. Now Bhagavan's gunas are like that, Bhagavan's leelas are like that, that even the jnani will melt when thinking about it. I have told you that Ramana Bhagavan would open the Ramayanam, read a little bit, and eyes will fill with tears, he will close it. He will open it again, close it, open it again, close it. And then he said, how do these people who give discourses do so? Perhaps they first make their hearts into stone and then talk. Otherwise, will they not be simply crying all the time? Appadinu children. Yaru cholranam, appadi jnani is saying that. Appo, we have not seen Shuka, but we know about Bhagavan. We have not seen Bhagavan, but we know about Bhagavan. We have had enough to read about Bhagavan. We have heard so much about Bhagavan. We can understand what's the jnani state. If a jnani can cry looking at the Ramayana, naturally Shuka would have cried. It is easy to understand. Extrapolate pannudlame. We know. Ittam bhuta guno hari. Jnanis do not cry for anything else. They only cry for God. Because as Swami says, happiness consists in shedding tears for nothing less than God. What is happiness? To not cry for anything other than God, that is happiness. Why cry for God? Not crying, moved. The heart melts. And when the heart melts, what happens? It starts to come out through the eyes. These are not tears, it is just heart itself. I will tell you the story. He starts Krishna Katha. How does Krishna Katha start? The burden of sin, of adharma, was so much upon the earth that earth could not bear it. She took the form of a cow and went to Brahma and prayed to him. Help me. I am unable to bear the burden of sin and adharma. Mountains and people I can carry, forests and elephants I can carry, but adharma I cannot carry. Upon knowing that, Brahma said, what can I do? I also sympathize with you, but I am not the person for it. Come, we will go to that person who can help us. And he went to the shores of the ocean of milk and praised Bhagavan with the verses of Purusha Suktam. Bhagavatam says. Chanted Purusha Suktam to please Bhagavan. Bhagavan was pleased by that. And Bhagavan told Brahma in a way that only Brahma could hear, others could not hear. Others had also come, only Brahma could hear. Bhagavan Channan, Varen, I will take an avataram. I have also been waiting for this moment. Bhagavan Jonna, why do you think adharma has grown? If I did not allow it, will it grow? I permitted adharma to grow because only then they have a good enough excuse to come. I want to come. I want to create something so extraordinary that it will stay forever. அப்படி ஒரு அவதாரம் I want to make. அதனால I let adharma grow னு சொன்னோம். Otherwise, we have to understand adharma alone cannot grow without Bhagavan's permission. It is not that Bhagavan is caught blindsided. Adharma grow. Oh, what happened? How did adharma grow? னு பகவானுக்கு தெரியாதானே? நான் முட்டாளான பகவான். Even if he says it, don't be deluded by these words. That chap knows full well that adharma is growing. He allows it to grow. He permits that. He is not goody two shoes. ஏன்னா அவன் தான் புருஷன், அவன் தான் காலன். He is the good and he is the bad. ஏன்னா எல்லாம் he is dharma, he is adharma. பாகவதத்தில் என்ன சொல்றது தெரியுமா? Bhagavan's chest is dharma, Bhagavan's back is adharmaன்னு சொல்றது. புருஷ்டத்திலேருந்து அதர்மம்னு சொல்றது. Bhagavan's back gave rise to adharmaன்னு சொல்றது. ஏன்னா எல்லாம் அவன் தானே. He alone exists. What else can come from where? Ajnana is also from him, adharma is also from him, sin is also from him, merit is also from him, yellam from him only. Why அப்படின்னா அவனோ மஜாக், for his fun, for his own fun தான். As in the story comes in the Bible where this man was born blind and Jesus comes and is about to cure him. When the people there ask Jesus, Master, why was this person born blind? Was it his own sins or the sins of his ancestors? Jesus says, neither his sin nor the sins of ancestors. He was born blind so that the glory of God may be made evident. Naturally, he cures him. Cures him. But like idiots, what are we thinking? For sin only we suffer. We think for sin we suffer. What did Jesus say? You are not suffering for sin, you are suffering because the glory of God will become evident through you. But if you look at it like that, no, you don't have to have a recrimination. Oh, I must have committed sin. In fact, when I was in Parthi, one fellow told me very funnily, like a joke, he said. He read it somewhere and he said, oh, wise man, why did you fear sin so much? Did you have no faith in God's compassion and forgiveness? Oh, wise man, why did you fear to commit sin? Oh, wise man, why did you fear to commit sin? Did you not have any faith in God's forgiveness? Did you think God will not forgive you? You will not commit sin. You but sin commit panna. Bhagavan mandada irkane Bhagavan manikiradhukku. You commit sin, Bhagavan is there to forgive. Like this, like the modern world, especially Western world. What do people do in Western world? They don't worry about their health at all because medicines are there. Medicare is there, medicines are there, hospitals are there, doctors are there. I will live my life any which way and then go and land them and expect them to fix me up. Yes or no? Now who is looking after their heart? Nobody is looking after their heart. Guidelines are eat this, don't eat that, exercise, and nobody follows all of that. Yeah, anyway, you will do something. You will patch up my heart. And the madri, why should I not sin? What is Bhagavan there for? I will sin, he will forgive. I will sin, he will forgive. பெற்றவன் நீ குரு பொறுப்பது உன் கடன். கந்தர சஷ்டி கவசத்தில் அவர் சொல்றார், பெற்றவன் நீ குரு பொறுப்பது உன் கடன். Now you are the one, you are my father. So to put up with me is your prarabdha. It is your தலையெழுத்து. You put up with me. Another name, Bhagavan also was born in Puttaparthi. To put up with us. To put up with all of us, Bhagavan was born in Puttaparthi. Brahma goes and prays, Bhagavan appears there, Bhagavan says, all right, I will come, I will be born, I will take an incarnation. I will be born in Mathura, and from Mathura I will go to Vrindavan, I will spend all my days amongst the cowherds. Since earth came in the form of cow. Earth came in the form of cow, adhanala Bhagavan sonna na Gopalanave irkene. I will come as Gopala. Gopalana, one who looks after the cow. Cow in the form of the earth. I will look after that cow. Gopalana, Bhagavan decided to take avatara. Brahma looked at all the devas and said, go, all of you also be born. Bhagavan is coming, therefore you also go be born as his kinsmen அப்படின்னு சொன்னார். அப்போ all the Vrishnis, Yadavas were all Devas, Amshas of the Devas, Pandavas எல்லாருமே தேவாம்சங்கள் தான் பார்க்கிறோம். All the Pandavas were all embodiments of different Devas, just as the monkeys were in Ramavataram. இப்படியா the stage was set, all the arrangements were made. அப்போ Mathuraங்கிற city, Ugrasena was the king who was ruling over Mathura. Ugrasena had a younger brother called Devaka. Devaka's daughter Devaki was getting married that day to Vasudeva. Suran ஒருத்தன் இருந்தான், Surasenan. Surasena's son was Vasudeva. Vasudeva and Devaki were getting married. So king's niece was getting married. Not a big affair. So the newly married couple were taken in a big procession to the groom's house. They were in a chariot. And who was driving the chariot? Kamsa was driving the chariot. Now who's Kamsa? Ugrasena's son, Devaki's brother, cousin brother. Kamsa was drawing the chariot. Vasudeva, Devaki are sitting in the chariot. Point ellarum on all sides. People are all there watching, witnessing, blessing the newly married couple. Kamsa also is driving with great joy, great love. Apapo looking at his sister, younger sister Devaki, with love in his heart, in his eyes. As he is going, suddenly an astral voice comes. Like a loud thunderclap from the heavens, a voice alone comes. We do not know who is speaking, voice comes. Enna solradhu the voice appadina, you fool அப்படின்ட்டு. Moodha, you fool அப்படின்ட்டு உடனே Kamsa looked up. Somehow he knew it was for him. அவ Kamsa பேரெல்லாம் சொல்லல. Move, you fool அப்படின்ட்டு அவன் yes me, what அப்படின்னா. You're driving the chariot of that woman whose 8th pregnancy will be your killer அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. அவரோட 8th pregnancy will kill you னு சொல்லிடுது. 8th child எல்லாம் கூட சொல்லல, ஒரு மிஸ்டீரியஸான வார்த்தை அது. 8th pregnancy will kill அப்படின்ட்டு. अस्यास्त्वामष्टमो गर्भो हन्तायां वहसे अबुधा यं वहसे अस्यास्त्वा अष्टमो गर्भो हन्ता अबुधा, O fool, she whom you are conveying in the chariot, her 8th pregnancy, 8th issue, 8th child will kill you. At the moment he heard it, immediately he stopped, jumped from the chariot. Before the voice could even finish, he got down, he drew his sword and said, if I kill this woman now, there is no possibility of 8th child for her. First child will kill her. He lifted his sword and came to kill her. Vasudeva immediately stopped Kamsa and he said, Kamsa, you should not be doing this does not behove of you. Adum, to kill your own sister, a woman, on the day of her wedding, none of these things seem to be appropriate. First of all, you should not kill a woman. Second, you should not kill her on her wedding day. Third, she is your own sister. How can you kill? Can you show your face later on as a hero in front of everybody? Tomorrow you will become the king of this Mathura. People will only look at you. They will not call you King Kamsa. They will call you sister side. Patry side, battery side. Side. Killer of the sister, killer of a woman. Is it appropriate behavior for you? Do not do it. Now immediately comes and said, didn't you hear what the voice said? I want to save my life, so I'll kill her. Vasudeva said, listen, the voice did not, first of all, voices are not to be trusted. If you hear voices suddenly, you should go and consult certain people for it. Nobody else seems to hear this voice. You alone responded, yes, who, what, me, the strange voices, if you hear, then you should go and consult somebody else for it, not kill your sister. If you want to kill your sister, you are hearing voices, it's a pattern here. It's a psychopath. It's a psychiatrist treatment. Don't kill your sister. No, I'm going to kill her. Vasudeva did not have any other option. He said, all right, if it is the children of Devaki that are going to kill you, I will bring the child to you. As and when the child is born, I will hand the child over to you. You do whatever you want. Kamsa thought about it Vasudeva had a reputation for the truth. Adanala he said, all right, I will trust you. Although it is your own child that you will be delivering to me, I trust your words and now. Fine. Somebody else had to drive the chariot back. Kamsa was not in a mood anymore. He went back home. Shukar cholala, but stands to reason. I don't think the journey would have completed in the same way it started. Ponalam, when they went there, after some time, what happened? The first child was born. First child was born in the due course of time. After about a year or so, the first child was born. Dutiman பேர் அந்த குழந்தைக்கு பேர் வேற வச்சுட்டா. அந்த பேர் குழந்தைய then as soon as the child was born, Vasudeva took the child from Devaki. Devaki, I have given a promise, I have to give this child to Kamsa now. Devaki said, oh, my poor child, what will Kamsa do now? Maybe he will not do anything. Maybe he will keep the child, in isolation or something. Papa may, go give. He brought the child. As soon as the baby came, if you see a small baby, a tiny little baby, your heart will feel happy. You feel. If you see the face of a small baby, 1,000 sorrows will vanish. Innocence. When Kamsa looked at the child, he said, Vasudeva, you're a great man. You're such a great man. You take your child back. He's my first nephew. Here a gift for him. You take him, you bring him up. The boy said 8th child. This is only first child. I'm not bothered. You take him. That's important. So Vasudeva said, okay. And Vasudeva brought the child back. Devaki was very excited. But Vasudeva said, hang on. We cannot trust people like Kamsa. He was ready to kill you. Adanala, I will not trust him. Papame, we will see. Vasudeva was a little bit more stable. After Vasudeva had gone away, Kamsa had another visitor. Yarana Narada came there. Our Narada. Narada has been one of the best. He has gone around giving instructions, upadesha to everybody, kindled bhakti in everybody. Narada came there. And again, Narada came and told Kamsa, Kamsa, are you sure what you've done is right? What have I done? Didn't you send back that child? Yes, I sent back. Are you safe from that child? No, 8th child is the one that is going to kill, not this. See, these voices are not to be trusted. It said 8th child, but 8th from where? What do you mean 8th from where? 8th from Devaki. 8th child from Devaki. If you start counting from first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Suppose you start counting from reverse. If 8 is 1, 8th child is number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First child is 8. Suppose you start counting from 7. What will happen? Which child will be in? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 8. Don't marume. If you circle, you put 8 children in a circle and then you count where you start from, depending on where you start from. Depending on where you start from, the numbers will keep changing. 1 to 8, anything can be your destruction. Narada came and said. Kamsa thought about it and he said, oh, this also makes sense. It will make sense only to people like Kamsa. To normal people, it will not make any sense. It is nonsense. Kamsa and go and made sense. Correct. Narada, I never knew you are such a good man. You are my best friend. From now on, you come. Anytime you want, you feel, you come. Eventually, he immediately sent guards, bring Vasudeva, ask Vasudeva to bring his child. Vasudeva brought the child. What is he going to do now? Kamsa took the child, killed the child. Killed the child. In front of Vasudeva, killed the child. Bhakarar Vasudeva. Narada has already left by the time. He didn't want to see all this. He just did his job and he went away. Partal. One by one, 6 sons are killed like this. 6 children are born, 6 children are killed like this. Parikshit, who was listening to the story, says, what is this story? I asked Krishna Katha. I told you to tell me a story of Krishna. I thought of Krishna, a sweet, bubbly child, loving butter, and my whole body is trembling. Child was killed, child was killed, child was killed. Shukar Cholrar, Parikshit, everything happens according to divine will. In the face of it, it may seem cruel. But let me tell you the antecedents of all of these fellows. Previously, this Kamsa was the Asura Arishta Nemi. Kala Nemi. Kamsa was Kala Nemi. When the Devas and the Asuras were fighting over the pot of Amrita, Kala Nemi was one of the Asuras under Mahabali. And Vishnu had killed this Kala Nemi. He died with a sense of vengeance. He said, I want revenge against this fellow, and therefore he has been reborn as Kamsa, carrying the enmity of his past life with him. As for those 6 sons of Devaki that were killed by him, those 6 were originally born as the sons of sage Marichi. Marichi or Rishi or 6 sons. They attained to the state of Devas by their own power. But then they went and misbehaved with Brahma. So Brahma cursed them, be born as demons. They were born later on as sons of Hiranyakashipu. They had to endure one more birth in the mortal world before they can regain their lost status as Devas. But their karma was almost finished. They only had to undergo the Garbhavasam, that period of pregnancy. After that, they will be born and immediately they will get back to Devaloka. That is why Narada came here. Narada came so that he can help these fellows return home. These fellows went home. Devaki Vasudeva, it was like torture for them. Ayo, my child, my child. Anal, if Devaki had realized this is not my child, it is actually Marichi's child. The very stories revealed to us, remind us, our children are not at all our children. Give up the idea that they are your children, that they are under your control, that they are under your care, that you have to look after them. Nothing. அதெல்லாம் எந்த ஜென்மங்களோ ஆறு கண்டா, who knows who they are. அவதாரங்களா இருக்கலாம் எல்லாரும். They can be divine incarnations. They can be, Ishwaramma also thought her Satya was an ordinary boy. Turned out, innama Satya Bhagavantudamma. Later on she said, our Satya is God. Nanachi Partalo, did Ishwaramma ever think that her boy was going to be divine? Because when Swami was born, did he not soil his clothes? Did the diaper not need to be changed? Ishwaramma has cleaned him. Ishwaramma has put him on her back and burped him. Ishwaramma has cleaned his wee and poo. This fellow suddenly God Anna. If he is God, then why did he wee on me and poo on me? Now he is God, it seems. That is how it is. But you cannot understand it. That is how we get into the delusion, our child. No, our child, your child business. Nobody belongs to anybody. Nobody belongs to anybody. Either everything is Brahman or each one has an independent path. Between these two, you cannot have any other third alternative. Either you believe in Jnanam, if you take it from a Jnana point of view, everybody is Brahman only. Who's? If you look at it from karma point of view, if each person is an individual soul, each person is an individual entity in their own right, who are there to you? To fulfill your karma, you have come together. Some karmic interactions are happening, therefore you are put together. There is no sense of owning, no sense of responsibility. You are not responsible for your children. How can you be responsible for your grandfather? இல்லையா கொழுத்தா தாக்கலாம் நீ ரெஸ்பான்சிபிள் அண்ணா அவர் பண்ண கர்மாலாம் உனக்கு தெரியுமா? When your great grandfather was living, he did all kinds of karmas. Did he come and consult you? Can I do this karma? He did whatever he wanted. Today he is come as your child. Now whatever he has to go through, they have to go through. It is because of their karma that they did. What are you to do about it? In what way are you responsible for it? உன்னை வந்து கேட்டு பண்ணாரா? That is why these stories are there in Bhagavatam, Puranangalla. These kind of past stories are all given so that we can apply it. No, this is not only for Devaki Vasudeva, avalukku illa, namakkum da, for us also. Who are our children? We do not know. Like I said the other day, are we cursed? Are we Devas cursed to be in a human form? We do not know. Are our children some divine beings? Or are they asuras? We do not know. We like them to be all divine beings only. Our children. Maybe other children all asura. My child, divine being. எல்லாருக்கும் அவா குழந்தை தெய்வம் தான். அது கடைசியில் கால நேமியாக இருந்தா கால நேமி அரிஷ்ட நேமி இந்த எவ்வளோ இருக்குது இல்லை நேமிகள்லாம். ஒன் ஆஃப் த நேம்டு நேமிஸ் வில் பி தேர். விச் நேமி ஹூ நோஸ்? தெரியாது நமக்கு. ஸோ வி ஆர் நாட் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிள் in any way for their past karma. So why are we bothered about it? Their life, they have to undergo their life. They have to, each one has to go through their lives for what they did. What can we do? Only thing we can do, you live your life correctly. You live for God. If you do so, looking at you, if it is their karma to do so, they will also learn to live for God. That is all. 6 sons were lost in this manner to Devaki. She became pregnant again, 7th child. When 7th child was born by the aid of Yoga Maya, Bhagavan's own Maya, the child was mysteriously transported from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. Or Rohini, Rohini was another wife of Vasudeva. She was another wife of Vasudeva. She became pregnant. When she became pregnant, it is not that her own pregnancy, it was actually Devaki's pregnancy that was mysteriously transplanted into surrogate mother Madhuri. She became pregnant. Appo immediately Vasudeva sent her off to Nandagopa's house. Vasudeva said, you don't stay here, inge anarthangal nadakkurathu, we do not know what this fellow will do. He killed Devaki's son. If he suddenly starts to kill your son, is a problem. Rohini, you go to Nandagopa's house. He sent her to Nandagopa's house. Who's Nandagopa? One of Vasudeva's close friends. Vasudeva's romba close friend was Nandagopa. Nanda was living in across the river Yamuna. Mathura was this side. Yamuna river, other side, there was a small hamlet, a cowherd settlement. Dairy farm of Kamsa's, the royal kingdom, or a dairy farm anga da irundhathu. He was the chief of that. And a good friend of Vasudeva. So Vasudeva said, you take my wife Rohini, she is like a sister to you, let her live there. No problem, she is like a sister to me. Her child is like, I will look after the child as my own nephew, don't worry. Eventually he took Rohini there and she was living there, even delivered the child there only. In the meantime, seeing Kamsa doing all of these actions, killing so many children, his father Ugrasena tried to reason with him. Kamsa threw Ugrasena into the prison and crowned himself king. Whoever revolted in his kingdom were also equally imprisoned or killed. Some people ran away. Most people ran away from the kingdom to neighboring countries. Only he was filled only with his own people, his own yes-sayers, yes men around him and women. Many yes men and one yes woman. Like this, as time is going on, the turn came for the 8th son, 8th child. She became pregnant again. Bhagavan, Srimad Narayana, brought forth his Yogamaya Shakti and said to her, hey Yogamaya, the time has now come for me to descend upon the earth. Another of my avatars. But in this avatara, unlike all the previous avatars, this is going to be a very special avatara because I am going to shine through with my divinity all the time. Once in a while I will hide it, again I will show. Avatars previously were very different. Narasimha Avatarathala, nobody could doubt Bhagavan's divinity. He jumped out of a pillar, even divine, what else was he? No doubt. And Rama Avatarathalyo, Rama pretended all through to be, I am Atmaham, Atmanam, Manusham Manye, Ramam, Dasharathatmajam. Who me? I am Dasharatha's son. Argatalu, Odane Aramchudu. Play the button. I am Dasharatha, my father is Dasharatha, king of Kosala, I was exiled, my wife and brother came along with me. In the Katha, including Shurpanaka, everybody will get the story. Rakshasas will get the story. Ayomaki Varum, Kabandanaka Kadikim, Viradana Kadikim, everybody will get the story. I am a man, Avritanaka should endure there. I am a man, not a god, I am a man, not a god, I am a man, not a god. Nambala Shivoham, Brahmasmi, na Ramar Vandu. Manushasmi. I'm a man, I'm not a god. Krishna, no nonsense fellow. Nonsense, I'm God and I'll better be God. I am God and I am not ashamed to be God அப்படின்னு Bhagavan. I am proud to wear my identity அப்படின்னு. He wore his identity on his sleeve. I am God. What are you going to do about it? அப்படின்னு. அதனால Bhagavan told Yogamaya, but once in a while I want to hide my divinity. Yogamaya said, why do you want to hide? Anyway, you have decided to be God. Be blatantly God. I also want to see you be once, blaze forth as God. But Bhagavan said, I don't mind, but my people, my devotees will all stand far away from me if I blaze forth with my divinity. All they will do is Namo Namaha, Namo Namaste, Namo Namaha nu Cholluva. I don't want that. I want to be coddled by them. I want to be fondled by them. I want to be loved by them. I want them to take me for granted. If it goes too much, then I will show my divinity and remind them. But most of the time, I want them to love me with all their hearts, not with fear, not with reverence, but with prema. I want this life to be in Bhagavan. Yogamaya said, all right, let us do it that way. What do you want me to do now? Bhagavan said, you are no different to me. Yenna, Uladunil Aladila Adiseya Shakti. In the Atma, there is an extraordinary power of the Atma which is non-different to the Atma. The power is called Maya. Therefore, you are not separate to me, but I will be born as the 8th son of Devaki at the same time. For 1 minute you delay. I will be born a minute or two later. You should be born in Yashoda's house. Be born as the daughter of Yashoda, the wife of Nandagopa. That's why 1 minute delay. If you are born 1 minute before me, then I have to call you elder sister. If you are born 1 minute after me, then you will be my younger sister. You have to call me Anna. அதனால தான் அனுஜா அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறா அவளை இல்லையா, கிருஷ்ணா அனுஜா அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம், நாராயண அனுஜான்னு சொல்கிறோம். He is the younger sister of Bhagavan. யாருன்னா தேவி துர்கா. Be born as my younger sister in Nandagopa's house as Yashoda's daughter. Take part in my divine drama, and if you do so, then your reward will be, you will be worshipped in this world variously as Chandi, Madhavi, Durga, Kali, Sharada. All these names will be given to you, Bhagavan says. I am not going to do it for the sake of being worshipped, but because you ask me to do, I will do it, no problem. So here Bhagavan entered into Vasudeva's heart with his divine aspect. From Vasudeva's heart, Bhagavatam says, as Vasudeva looked at Devaki, just as the Guru's Diksha is done by merely looking at the disciple, like that, from Vasudeva's heart, Bhagavan went through his eyes into Devaki. Devaki conceived. At the same time, Yogamaya entered into Yashoda's womb. Vasudeva became radiant carrying Bhagavan. Devaki also started to shine. Once Bhagavan entered into her, she started to shine forth. The prophecy seems to be coming true. All this time she was pregnant, she had the normal pregnancy glow. Women have something called pregnancy glow when they become pregnant. Blood vessels are all too much, so they shine. This was not biological glow. This was a divine spiritual glow. Partha and Kamsa also could see it. He said, this is the pregnancy. Unfortunately, I killed all the others. But this is the actual one. This I have to be very careful. So he did not even let them be free. He imprisoned them. He threw both Vasudeva and Devaki in a prison cell and surrounded it with guards all the time. And he told all the guards, keep monitoring her. Who knows, it would be a premature birth. And I want to be notified. Every day I want a report, health report. Devaki was arrested along with Vasudeva, put into the prison. He doubled the guards surrounding the couple, had them watched constantly, rising, sitting, walking, eating. All he could think of was that child to be born who would spell his doom. Prahladanukku chonnam, illaya, Ashnan, Pralapan, Bruvan, ellam chonnam. When he sat, when he ate, when he walked, he did not think of anything else. Govinda Parirambita. He did not think of anything. He was only lost in Govindan. Ingayume, Kamsa is also like that only. Kamsa is not able to think of anything. He is eating something, but he does not even know what he is eating. He is only thinking about that child to be born, that child to be born, that child to be born. Namasmaranam kuda kadayadu. He does not even have a name. That fellow who might kill me, that's his name. Meanwhile, knowing that Bhagavan's advent was imminent, Brahma and Shiva and all the Devas went into the prison cell of Devaki and praised the unborn the Lord. Ajayamano Bahuda Bijayate. Bhagavan, who is never born, yet is born in so many forms. They went and praised him. Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satye Satyasya Satyam Rita Satyanetram Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapannaha. Bhagavane, we surrender to you. Brahma says, O Lord, we surrender to you. Who are you, Abdina? The one who is Satyavratam, the one whose resolve is true. Satyaparam, the supreme truth. You are the supreme truth. Trisatyam, you are the truth in the past, the present and the future. Satyasya yonim, you give birth to truth. Nihitam cha satye, in you all the truth arises and remains. Satyasya satyam, you are the truth of truth itself. Rita satya netram, truth and righteousness are your two eyes. Satyatmakam, you are the very form of truth itself. Abhirbata tvam sharanam prapannaha, to you we surrender, you are the truth itself. Bhagavan, they welcome Bhagavan as truth. Adanaladhan Bhagavan enna pannanna, yela poyurai அப்படின்னா இல்லையா? Andal says, ஏலா பொய் உரைப்பான் அப்படின்னு. That fellow who constantly tell lies. Have you seen him? அப்படின்னு கேட்கிறா. கண்டீரோ அப்படின்னு கேட்கிறா. She comes to her Tovis and says, அந்த ஏலா பொய் உரைப்பானே கண்டீரோ. என்ன சொல்லுவ? ஏலா பொய்கள் உரைப்பானை இங்கே போத கண்டீரோ, நவ பிருந்தாவனத்தில் கண்டோமேன்னு சொல்லுவாளாம். Have you seen that fellow who constantly lies? Anywhere? Here? Yeah, we saw him in Vrindavanam. They point out. Other gopis. Yenna, even Satyasya Satyam, Rata Satyanetram, Satyatmakam, even Satya Swarupanalaya. Who can tell lies? The one who is Satya himself alone can tell lies. Others cannot tell lies because whatever he says is the truth. How can it be lie? Even Sholutana Satyam, Satyasya Yonim. From him truth arises. He is giving birth to truth. Whatever he gives birth is truth only. But whatever he says is truth only. It is never lie. Whatever Krishna did is dharma. Whatever Krishna said is satya. There is no question of did Krishna do dharma? Did Krishna speak satya? Illa. What Krishna said was what is defined as satya. What Krishna did is then what is defined as dharma. Abdiya, they welcome Bhagavan. After praising Bhagavan in this manner, they returned to their abodes. Bhagavan, when the time was right, Bhagavan decided, Mumuchuhu munayo devaha sumanam si mudanvitaha mandam mandam jaladhara jagarjur anusagaram nishite tama udbhute jayamane janardane devakyam devarupinyam vishnu sarvagughashayah avirasit yata prachyam dishinduriva pushkalaha. The hour of Bhagavan's birth had come. It was a delightful hour filled with all kinds of auspiciousness. Rohini's star was on the ascendant. The rainy season was due to come to an end very soon. The air was fresh and moist. A cool breeze from the Yamuna blew, bringing cheer to everybody. The midnight hour, but piercing the darkness of the night, the Lord emerged from Devaki like the full moon rising up in all its glory. The hearts of all the righteous were suddenly filled with an unknown, unexplained joy. They did not know why. They woke up with joy. The hearts of the evildoers were suddenly filled with fear, fright and doom and gloom, anxiety, panic attack they had. They woke up with panic attacks. The heavenly instruments played on their own. Celestial nymphs danced in joy. Gandharvas sang happily. Rishis uttered hymns of auspiciousness everywhere, heralding the birth of the Supreme Lord. Bhagavan Bhagavan appeared. Bhagavan was not born. Devaki did not undergo any labor pains. If all those had happened, the gods would have already told Kamsa, labor pains have started, Kamsa would have come that time itself. Kamsa did not know Bhagavan was born. Yenna, Bhagavan was not born in the traditional sense. Avirasi dyata prachya dishinduriva pushkalaha. Bhagavan simply appeared from Devaki just as the moon appears from the ocean. The moon seems to appear from the ocean. Anna, is the ocean giving birth to the moon? Was the moon hiding under the ocean? Did it suddenly come up? Anna, it looks like that. Yeah. Similarly, Bhagavan did not emerge from Devaki but looked as though he came from Devaki. And that Devaki was there, Vasudeva was here, suddenly there was a child, something next to Devaki. Adanal everybody assumed, oh, it came from Devaki. Abdi Bhagavan appeared. And when Bhagavan appeared, how did Bhagavan look? Tamadbhutam balakam ambujekshanam chaturbhujam shankagada diudayudam Shrivatsalakshmam galasho vikaustubam Pitambaram Sandrapayoda Saubhagam Maharga Vaidurya Kirita Kundala Tvisha Parisvakta Tvisha Parishvakta Sahasra Kuntalam Uddama Kanchi Angada Kankanadibihi Virochamanam Vasudeva Ikshata. Bhagavan appeared. How did Bhagavan appear? Tamadbhutam balakam. A wondrous boy appeared in Chennai. Adbhutam balakam. Balakam na boy, a baby, a child, a boy child. How was this boy child? Adbhutam balakam. Most wondrous boy child. What is so wondrous about a boy child? The fact that it is a boy itself is wondrous. How did Bhagavan appear? In all his glory he appeared. Adanal a wondrous child. Normal children have two hands. They have their eyes are wrinkled and closed and crying. Ana inge ambujekshanam. Lotus-like eyes. The child was born with lotus-like eyes, looking widely at Vasudeva and Devaki. Chaturbhujam, 4 hands. Child was born with 4 hands. This is a free karna. Adbhutam balakam. 4 hands. 4 hands matramaliyam. Shanka gada yudayudam. Shanka in one hand, chakra in one hand, lotus in one hand, gada in one hand. Gada was lifted up like this. Shrivatsalakshmam, the Shrivatsa mark upon his chest. Galashobi kaustubham, kaustubha mala around his neck. Pitambaram, only child that was born with clothes. Only child born with clothes, yellow silks adorning him. Sandra, I'm a porakarchi, but aparana odina without anything. Sandrapayoda Saubhagam Maharga Vaidurya Kirita Kuntalaihi. Priya Kritam, crown upon his head, earrings dangling from his ears, beautiful black curly locks of hair coming and descending upon his shoulders. Kanchi Angadam, a belt around his waist, studded with jewels. Bracelets, anklets, both shining in all his glory, he appeared in front of Vasudeva. Vasudeva, the first one to see. Is it not wondrous then? Which child was ever born like this? Why was he born like this? Why could he not have been born like an ordinary child? Bhagavan compassion jasti. Bhagavan was filled with so much compassion towards his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki. He knows that he has to depart from here and go to Gokulam within a few short hours. After that, he will grow up there and come back only when he is 11 years of age. The only thing that Vasudeva and Devaki can do after that is Upanayanam for him. That is the only ceremony they see. Ana, in our samskara, in our tradition, when a child is born. So many things are done for the child. The ears are pierced and we adorn the ears with earrings for the child. The mother lovingly dresses the child up with all kinds of ornaments and beautiful clothes. She will buy toys. The father and the mother will buy toys and give the child so that the child can play with all those toys. Vasudeva and Devaki are not going to have that pleasure with Bhagavan. Adanana Bhagavan said, don't worry. I come fully equipped with all my toys. I come fully equipped with everything I need. I've got all the jewels, all the ornaments. See? And for playthings, see, Gada, See, conch, பூன்னு ஊதுறதுக்கு காஞ்சு, அப்புறம் ராட்டில் மாதிரி கதா, child, you know what children do, babies, when you go near them, they'll beat you with that rattle. Luckily, it is plastic. Luckily for us, it is plastic. நம்ம மண்டை போடும். பகவான் அப்படிதான், அதுதான் உதாயுதான கதையை தூக்கி வச்சிருக்காங்க கையில். He's held the gada, the mace uplifted so that he can play with it like this. இப்படியா பகவான் has presented himself in front of Vasudeva. Vasudeva is seeing this wondrous sight. ஆஹா அப்படின்னு பார்க்கறான். And the moment Bhagavan appeared, it's Sakshat Śrīmad Narayana, Bhagavan appeared in front of Vasudeva, not as a human child. உடனே வசுதேவா viditosi bhavan sakshat purushaha prakrite paraha kevalanubhavananda swarupaha sarva buddhidrik. Bhagavane, I know who you are. Viditosi, I know who you are. Ni sakshat purushaha, you are the supreme Purusha who is adored by Purusha Sukta. Prakrite paraha, you are above and beyond Prakriti, beyond this nature. Kevalanubhavananda swarupaha, you can only be ever experienced as that bliss that comes when you know He alone exists. When He alone exists, there is a bliss. Bhakti la ஞானத்தில் மாத்திரம் இல்லை. In jnana, naturally, this is the only bliss that is there. He alone, Brahman alone is. Atma alone is. ஒரு ஆனந்தம், ஆத்மானந்தம்னு பேர் அதுக்கு. ஆத்மானந்தம்னு பேர். பிரம்மானந்தம், ஆத்மானந்தம்னு பேர். ஆனால் in bhakti, when we love God, we feel so happy. When He looks at us, we feel so happy. We are smiling. Our hearts feel as though they are going to burst with joy. Allah, all those things are there, but that is still not that joy. That is still not the liberating joy. Otherwise, we will all of us should have already been liberated, because when Swami saw us, we felt so happy as though our hearts were going to burst out of the chest. Isn't it? And adhukkaga jnanam varliye, liberation varliye enna. This is not that joy. That joy is still separate. When can that joy arise? When you are not there, that joy arises. When He alone is there, that joy arises. That state where you, the enjoyer, is no longer there, He alone is there, அப்படின்னா தான் அந்த ஆனந்தம், that ஆனந்தம். That is what is called here as Kevala Anubhavananda. Bhagavan is Kevala Anubhavananda Swarupan. Bhagavan is that nature, Bhagavan's form itself is that bliss. Sarva Buddhidrik, you are the eternal witness seated in the hearts of all, watching everything. Appearvata Bhagavane, salutations to you. It is you who are all pervading, entering into every fiber of this entire universe. The fact that you have appeared from Devaki is merely a play acting, a sport of yours. அப்படின்னு சொன்னார். அதுக்குள்ள Devaki looked up and saw this child. Devaki பார்த்தாஹா. குழந்தைய பார்க்குற Devaki is seeing her child. என்ன child அப்படின்னா சாட்சாத் Bhagavan himself has come as her child. எப்படி இருக்கும் அவளுக்கு? She is looking at that wonder. Rupam yattat prahuravyaktam adyam brahmajyoti nirgunam nirvikaram satta matram nirvishesham niriham satvam sakshat vishnuhu adhyatma deepaha. Devaki looks at this child and prays. And the Koindya Konjara Devaki. Devaki is cuddling the child. When a mother looks at the child and cuddles the child and prays with the child, Chiti, Buti, Buchi Buchi, edo solva illaya. Kutti, Kanne, Maniye, Mutte, Manikame, Padame, Vairame, Vaiduriyame. Some nothings and nonsense is usually uttered by the mother. Only the child understands mother's language. Only mother understands Chinese language. Something she says to play with the child. Kuchi, Kuchi, Buchi, Buchi, Bu. And the Madri Devaki is also looking at this child and saying, Rupam yattat prahuravyaktamadhyam, you whose form is described as the unmanifest, that which is before even the beginning. Brahma Jyotihi, Brahma Jyotiye, my beautiful Brahmic light. Nirgunam, Nirvikaram, oh my lovely formless one, oh my sweet attributeless one, Nirgunam, Nirvikaram, Satta Matram. Bhagavanoda Swarupam Yanna, Satta Matram, pure existence. Bhagavanoda real nature Yanna, something that is very intimately close and something all of us are aware at every moment. Existence. We exist. Don't we exist? Don't we have an existence? That existence that we have is Krishna. That existence that we have itself is God. And the Sattamatra Shariram, nam Bhagavan Rupam. Sattamatram Nirvishesham Niriham Sattvam Sakshat Vishnuhu. You are Sakshat, the all-pervading Lord. Adhyatma Deepaha, the divine light of the Atma. Brahma Jyotihi, the divine light of the Brahman. The Brahma Swarupanuliyoni. Appadinni she is able to understand Krishna's real nature. Bhagavan looks at them and says, I am very happy that you are able to recognize me as who I am. That is why I came in this form specifically for you. Because in your previous life, Vasudeva, you were a Prajapati called Sutapa. And O Devaki, you were at that time his wife called Prishni. And you both propitiated me through penance and austerity. Pleased, I appeared in front of you and asked you to, or told you to ask me a boon, to grant you the boon of your choice. Appo, you then asked for a son equal to me. I want a son like you. At that time I said, there is nobody equal to me. Therefore, I will myself be born to you not once but thrice. I will be born to you 3 times, and I gave a promise to you at that time. First time I was born to you and I was called Prishni Garbha, Prishni's son. The second time you were Kashyapa and you were Aditi, and I was born to you as Upendra. But because I was very short, everybody called me Vamana. You were Kashyapa Prajapati, you were Aditi, and I was born as Vamana and went to rule over Mahabali Chakravarti. Now this is the third birth. In this third birth, in order to keep the promise that I have given you, I have appeared in my transcendental form for a reason. The earlier 2 times you didn't discover who I was. You were caught up in Maya. This time don't make the mistake again. How to not make the mistake now? Yuvam mam putra bhavena brahma bhavena chasakrit chintayantau krita sneho yasyete madgatim param. In this birth, I will tell you how you can attain moksha. You don't need anybody else. I am enough for you to attain moksha. I am enough. Bhagavan சொல்றேன் நான் போறோம். How am I alone enough அப்படின்னா? You look at me as a son and love me, no problem. But at the same time, don't forget that I am the Brahman. Yuvamam putra bhavena brahma bhavena cha asakrit. Constantly keep both these bhavas, both these feelings inside you. He is our son, but he is also the Brahman. Brahman, the pure Parabrahman is our son. So, because I am your son, you shower your love, your affection upon me. But at the same time, never forget my reality. Don't get caught up and attached with mere the name and form, the body, mind, etc. Be aware of the Atmic reality, Atmaswarupa. Bhagavan says. Once again, this is not only for Devaki Vasudeva, for all of us also, it is equally applicable. We also have children. Who are our children? Brahmam Dan, Atma Dan. Atma is our child. But what should you do? Atma, should you look at it and do Aarti for it? Don't do all of that. You shower your love and affection, lavish your affection upon it. Consider it to be your child. If it does something wrong, you scold it. You make it do the right things, all that you do. At the same time, remember Atma. Never forget it is Atma. Never forget it is Brahman. Yellam Brahmamayam Jagat. If we will have the best of both worlds. You don't have to run away from your children. Love them. You don't have to run away from your family. Children matramilla, family kumdan. Husbands, wives, ellathukkum this is applicable. Don't have to run away from anybody. They are not going to be any problem to you. In fact, using them, you can attain the truth. Spouses, siblings, parents, children, all are included in this. Relatives, friends, everything is included in this equation. Love everybody. Cherish everybody. Treasure everybody. But at the same time, know that Atma, not the body, mind. So do not treasure the body, mind. Treasure the Atma that they are. Value the Atma that they are. Treasure and love the Atmic reality that they are. Not just the body, mind. And truth Bhagavan gives to Devaki Vasudeva, Krishnam Bande Jagat Gurum. Krishna is the eternal world teacher. He starts his career as Krishna Avataram by giving teachings to his own parents. After doing all of that, he said to Vasudeva, without saying, Chaladu Shalli. He doesn't really speak, but he gives the indication to Vasudeva. he transforms himself into a small, helpless human baby once again. After showing all of these divine forms, he becomes a small baby, normal human baby. Except that the word normal can never be used with Krishna. But no, to some extent, normal. And he communicated to Vasudeva, take me to, across the river, take me to Gokulam and leave me in Nandagopa's house. Abdina Bhagavan gives instruction to Vasudeva. Just as Vasudeva takes Bhagavan, the little baby, into his hands, he has been shackled with chains. Both hands and feet have been shackled with chains. The moment he touched Bhagavan, shackles fell away. Yenna, naturally, once you have touched Bhagavan, what can shackle you after that? What bondage can exist after you have touched him? Not touching him is bondage. Touching him is liberation. Touching him is sparsha. Coming in contact with him. The prison doors flew open. The guards fell asleep. And Vasudeva, carrying the child in a basket, walked out. And the Kaila Koyandiya Vachindi is walking out. He placed the baby in a basket lined with soft cloth, and holding the basket aloft above his head, he started walking towards the river Yamuna to cross it and go. It was midnight, no boatmen available. Plus secreta, this has to be done. He can't tell anybody. The moisture-laden clouds that had rendered the night even darker suddenly opened up and started to pour down heavily. Blinding rain, but Vasudeva walked on, being possessed by the divine spirit. However, to protect this child from the rain, Adisesha, the eternal serpent of Bhagavan, what does he do? He is forever serving Bhagavan. How does he serve Bhagavan? Nindral Kudayam. Shendral Maravadiyam. Irundal Simhasanamam. Kedandal. What does Adisesha do? When Bhagavan feels like lying down, Adisesha converts himself into a bed. When Bhagavan feels like sitting up, Adisesha converts himself into a couch. When Bhagavan feels like walking, Adisesha converts himself into Bhagavan's padukas. If it is raining, Adisesha becomes Bhagavan's umbrella. Ipadiya, he takes care of Bhagavan in every way. Adanala Parama Bhaktan, Parama Bhagavata, Adisesha Ananta. Bhagavan Udiya Swarupam ne Shalutam Adisesha. Anantalvan, abdine peru Bhagavan. Adisesha is serving Bhagavan in this manner. He became the umbrella shielding this child from rain, unfurling his many hoods, keeping the rain at bay. All the inhabitants of Mathura also fell into a deep slumber brought about by the power of Yogamaya of Bhagavan. Nobody knew this divine drama was being enacted. Angerndu Vasudeva reached the banks of Yamuna. Yamuna was in a flood. Vasudeva thought, how am I going to cross? But Anna, divine force is inspiring him. He went into the water. He got into the water. And as soon as he got into the water, what happened? The water began to rise up. To protect this child, he is holding the child right on top, but the water seems to be unabated, rising up slowly, came all the way up to his neck, going further up to his nose. Vasudeva will drown. Bhagavan Parthan, Bhagavan saw and understood why Yamuna is doing like this. And Bhagavan is coming, should Yamuna not give way? Yamuna was not giving way. On the other hand, she was rising higher and higher. Why? Because initially he was holding child like this. So Yamuna came up till there. She wanted to touch him. And seeing the water rise, he lifted the child up a little bit more. Yamuna rose a little bit more. Finally, he took it on top of his head. Yamuna did not know what to do. She came all the way up. Bhagavan thought, this will not help my father. Adanala Bhagavan put his little baby foot out of the basket. The foot dangled out. Adala, he gave a little tap to Yamuna. Yamuna immediately subsided. Bhagavan told her, Enna avasharam. What is the hurry? I am going to spend a lot of time bathing in you, playing in you, frolicking in you. Adukulla enna avasharam, give way now. Immediately Yamuna parted. Vasudeva crossed, carrying Krishna upon his head, walked straight into the hamlet, the village of Gokulam, walked into Nandagopa's house. Everybody in Gokulam were also in equally deep sleep as they were in Mathura. What do we learn from this story? If you sleep, it is because Bhagavan wants you to sleep. If you cannot sleep, Bhagavan does not want you to sleep. Some people complain, I can't sleep. Bhagavan wants you to keep you awake, and you're awake. Some people are always sleeping. Bhagavan is in the form of sleep in you. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. She was in the form of sleep. I salute her. If she is Nidra, she is also Anidra. She is also the waking. Everybody fell asleep when he commanded. Even if you want to, you cannot wake up if he wants you to sleep. What can you do? On the other hand, even if you want to sleep, if he wants you to be awake, you cannot sleep. Leave everything to him. Again, the Ponar, he walked straight in, nobody stopped him, everybody was fast asleep. Yashoda had given birth to a beautiful baby girl, but she was also asleep. The midwives around her were also asleep. In fact, they had not even checked the gender of this child. The child was born, everybody fell asleep immediately. எல்லாருக்கும் அனஸ்தீசியா கொடுத்த மாதிரி அவளும் தூங்கி போட்டான். டெலிவரிக்கு இவ்வளவு கொடுப்பாளான்னா அவளுக்கு கொடுத்த மாதிரி கடைசியில் எபிடியூரல் கொடுத்த மாதிரி எல்லாருக்கும் ஆயிடுச்சு. Everybody was fast asleep. They did not even know whether a boy was born or a girl was born. Vasudeva went there, he saw the girl baby, she was looking at him with bright eyes. He lifted the girl baby, put this boy child next to Yashoda, took that girl child into his basket and came back the same way. Everything was repeated. Yamuna gave way, Adisesha held the thing, everything was the same way. They came back. Once he came back, once he placed the child down, immediately the shackles came up. The door shut with a bang, waking up the guards. And as though that was not enough, this baby, which has been so quiet and cooperative up until this moment, gave a loud cry, loud yell, lusty yell of a newborn babe. So all the guards immediately rushed to tell Kamsa about this news, while we rushed to have our morning tea. We'll come back and see what happens in the next. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam